My mom had me in the church since we were babies, so I grew up in a Lutheran church, and I was very active in the church. I loved God, and I just had a connection with him at a young age. I stopped going to our church as much middle school or high school. We were just like a small country church where it was like 3-4 people my age there, and it was just, or some of them being my sisters, so it was like, it just didn't fit. My birth mom was raped by her dad. She was living with her dad her entire life, so she was living with her rapist, I guess. It was always like I was being interviewed, and I never really got a chance to connect with my real family as much because they were just always asking me questions. There was a caseworker there, and it was just awkward. So I was in foster care for a long time. I finally got adopted in 4th grade about. I was blessed to have 3 sisters who were also adopted. They all have the same parents. My adopted mom did not like my boyfriend in high school. And I should have listened to her. He cheated on me with a lot of my girlfriends. I wasn't listening to God. He was telling me like this, this wasn't the right situation, this wasn't the right guy, this isn't the right time in my life. I don't know if it's because I felt like there was no man in my life ever. Looking back on my high school experience and me just being so addicted to a relationship that was destructive, or just being a very prominent thing in my life when I wish it wasn't. When I was very smart, very athletic, and I felt like a lot of those things disappeared. My mom was like, you need to get out to the gym. You need to like get involved with like kids in town that go to church. So after like hitting rock bottom, I fell and just like super depressed, needing to interact with people again. I was like, okay, you can drive 20 minutes to town, go to the gym, join a gym, like spend the money, it's important. And I met Josh and Heather Nye.
I met Lauren the one day she came in for a membership. And I just remember Lauren being so bubbly and fun, and I really, really wanted to get to know her.
And it just really happened very naturally.
We became more of friends than acquaintances. And the one day we were working out, and somehow we just started talking about God and church. And she was telling us how she really wanted to plug in somewhere around here that was more her style. She could meet some people more her age.
He's like, we'll sit with you in church if you come, like you should totally come. And I was like, really? That would be so awesome. Like, cause it's really hard to go to church when you don't know someone there. It's like, how do I start? How do I plug myself in?
So we just invited her to what was EBC at the time. And we also invited her to our life group.
So they invite me to a small group.
You could just tell that there was a little just anxiety. She was put through a lot in her life.
When God had me show up and I pulled up into that building where the life group was, I was like, really, God? Like, what? You're bringing me back to this building? It was the building that I decided to turn against him at. It was the building I decided to lose my virginity with my first boyfriend. And when I kept like, before I shared my story, I kept talking to my life group at different times saying like, you don't understand how awesome this is. You don't understand how excited I am to know you guys, because God has just like changed my life and my view, and he's forgiven me. I can forgive my friends and family more now, knowing that I have been forgiven and that he has just wiped away all the regret and shame that I've lived with, and that he has made me realize how valuable I am to him and how much he loves me so I can accept love from others.
It was just something so small and easy for us, but it turned out in the long run, after hearing her story, that God used that in a really cool way.
I just feel like now, since she's been going to LCBC and she's been coming to our life group every single week, you can just tell how much more comfortable with herself she is and how much more confident and strong, and it's absolutely wonderful to watch her grow. It just goes to show how important that initial invitation is. Just invite them and then let God work through that.
I'm a life changed by Christ. It's so exciting and it's crazy.